Hi there everyone, Houdini Hyperbasic here, and today we're talking about context in Houdini, which is VOP, SOP, DOP, ROP, top, shop, whatever, all these things. I'm not gonna talk about all the context because there is some that no one uses, or usually you don't give a fuck about those. Uh, but we're gonna talk about the main context and just to give you guys an idea of what a context is and what is a SOP, what is a DOP, what is a ROP, etc. So we're gonna start with a metaphoric thing to try to explain to people coming from Maya or Blender, because this or 3ds Max, Cinema, etc., because these videos are aimed to those type of people, and they come here and they hear like about context and shit, and it's all new to them. So I'm gonna clarify for you guys what this context things are. um okay, let's start with the metaphorics thing, and then we go a really simple explanation for each thing, and when we finished the simple, we we go more in depth for each one of them. Okay, so you can, if you want to just have a superficial knowing of what a SOP is, you can stay for the first 2 minutes, and that's all. Okay, let's start it. So when you let's take for an example like Blender. In Blender, uh, it's like a let's say your 3D program of choice. It's like a factory. Okay, you have something, you have nothing at the start. You put things together. You give them materials, you give them lights, etc., and you output them, and that's the factory. It's only one way to go. It's only, you make the model, you give them I don't know, you give them the materials, you do some shading, you make lights, you go rendering, and that's it. Okay, so Blender, for example, or Maya or whatever, uh, they know that when you are doing the shading part, they have to uh, think about the other context before that, so they know about like the object. Okay, so the context is this, is like um, the object context, it's the material context, it's the rendering context. This is the context. Okay, in Houdini is different. Houdini doesn't know. Houdini, if this is your factory, which the designer here designs like a chassis, and gives it to the blacksmith, and who's gonna do his thing, and gives it to the welder, etc. In a normal 3D approach like Blender, Cinema, etc. Cinema, I don't know about Cinema because I never use it, but Blender, Maya, etc. They know. The blacksmith now knows how many chassis the designer have designed, and the welder know how many chassis the blacksmith blacksmithed, you know. So they all know about the previous. In Houdini, they doesn't know. Mm, each context is his own thing and doesn't know about the others. So every time you have to import things. So this is the first thing you need to know about context in Houdini. So if you wanna, like we did in Karma, if you wanna render something and you have all your objects here, when you go in Karma, in Mantra it's different. Mantra knows. And sometimes they have done some automatic importing, we can say like this. But in Karma, for example, you need to import what you want to render, even if they are in your viewport right here. If I go to Karma right now, I have to import each one of them. and to give them materials, etc., etc. So this is the first thing you need to know. So in Houdini, the blacksmith, which can be the sub context, the DOP context, doesn't know about the sub context, which is the designer, for example. He doesn't know how much design things are there. He doesn't care a shit. So that's the first thing to know. Let's go now. What is SOP? Okay, simple explanation. A SOP is let's go with the actual. Sorry, let's go with the actual. It's a surface operator. Okay, surface operator. What is a surface operator? Um, a surface operator is any kind of geometry you have, which is static, we can say. Okay, so all the geometries we have here, this text to this chassis, the blacksmith here guy, everything in here is a SOP. This points is SOP. Okay, sorry. So this is the simple version of it. The DOP. What is the DOP? In this case, we have a fluid DOP simulation. The DOPs are usually simulations, but can be, mm, yeah, are simulations, because what DOP means is dynamic operator, and the dynamic in the dynamic operator is not about the moving. It's about having uh, equations that runs the thing. Okay, so in everything that is DOP has equations in it. Uh, the equations can be, in this case, are the fluid equations. Here is a fluid equations to know the flow of a specific, diameter of a pipe. Um, but but any equations applied to something, it's a DOP. It's a DOP thing. Hopefully that makes sense. It will make more sense after when we go in depth, but this is it. Anything with an equation which is simulated, and in the simulation part of the thing, it's an equation. That's DOP. So the DOPs are the vellum, which now I don't really have. The RBD, the pyro, the flip, all the sims, okay, which we're gonna treat in another video. All the sims type are DOPs. The chops are channel operation, which is this type of channels. Everything that has a channel, so animation curves, um, music. If you want to put some music in Houdini, you can do things with the music using the chops. He can understand and import music using chops, because music is like curves like this. So the chops is the music, generally speaking. ROP is everything that it's render operations, okay? But it's not only for rendering, it's not only the image output, it's any kind of output. Anything that you wanna export from here is ROP. So Alembic can be ROP, because if you wanna export Alembic, you need to do a ROP Alembic export. Everything that he writes and exports is ROP, generally speaking. All of this, it's my knowledge, so might not be really accurate, but it works. So COP, what is COP? COP is everything that is composing. This is the old version of COP. COP used to be only this thing, which is composing images, which is what you do with Nuke, or what you do with DaVinci Resolve, or what you do in After Effects. So everything that compose images was COP. Now COP is more than that because they evolved COP, and COP is even this thing, making images. Tile and now you can make them tileable textures in Houdini and use them as textures, like you do in what's the program called? Substance Designer, if you know the thing. So you can you know, here do textures and use them. You make textures in Houdini and you use them, and that's COPS. So COPS is even texture making thing, like designer, and um, composing images, which no one ever. It's not really used since the start. Some people use it because maybe you want to do everything in Houdini and you compose in Houdini, but it was really limited from what I know. So no one really used that so much. That thing. Uh, VOP is VEX operations. It no, sorry, it's not VEX VOP is vector operations. So it's modifying, it's editing, it's doing operations on vectors, not only vectors, even on floats and integers. If you don't know what a float, an integer, or a vector is, we're gonna do a video on that really soon, which is a really short video will be. But is, for example, these points have um, a vector, which is the position, for example. We can, with the VOP, change the position of each point. So it's a way to modify attributes, generally speaking, or vectors, floats, integers, etc. VEX is the same thing that VOP does, and more. And it's a language, but it's done in programming language. So you program. You can do the same thing that you can do with VOP, but writing them as a program language like Python and shit. But here you use VEX. I think VEX is the base of everything here. I think all you can see in Houdini is VEX, just visual VEX, you know. So VOPs and VEX, for what I know, maybe VEX you can do more than VOPs, but VOP is everything that you do in VEX, but with nodes, graphically. So it's not like writing code, but it's graphical code, if you know what I mean. So that's it. That's the simple version of each one of them. If we want to go more in depth, we can go with SOPs. SOPs, as I said, is everything that you saw before. So everything that curves, volumes. SOPs is surface operator, but and surface static operator, but not only surface and not only static. I'm sorry, it's kind of confusing maybe, but everything that is a geometry, that is a curve, that is a point, that is a volume, is a SOP until it doesn't have a simulation in it. Then it becomes a DOP. Okay, so this is a SOP. Even though if I go here like this, it's moving. Okay, it's a SOP. It's moving only because I'm using a noise on it, and I'm using the timeline. I'm moving the noise, so it's still a SOP. It's not using an equation to move. Okay, it's using just a noise, which I have here. And I apply the noise with the VOP, but we're gonna go on that later on the VOP section. Okay, so that's a SOP. A SOP, it's any kind of geometry that you have, which has not equations and simulations in it. A DOP is a simulation. DOP is anything that has a simulation, which like this is sorry, this is a fluid simulation. So anything that has a simulation is DOP. So pyro, flip fluid, uh, vellum, rigid body, anything that has a simulation, distractions, you know, which is rigid body. Everything that has a simulation is DOP because they're using equations. Like, sorry, let's make it clear here. Clear. Okay. Anyways, let's make it clear here. So we have here a SOP. Until this point, this is a SOP because to here you don't have any equation. Okay, you just have this one, which is your emitter in this case. Uh, but you don't have any equations. When you open the DOPnet and see, they are not communicating. They are not like this. Okay, they don't need to be, because the DOPnet, when you go inside it, sorry, when you go inside it, you have like nothing. It's like this when you do it the first time. So you have to import here, and you go with object, flip object, and you go here, flip object, and you say, I'm importing you the emitter, which will be the flip object, etc., etc. I already did that, so we have it here. And you have imported your SOP, which to this point is still a SOP inside a DOP. Okay, and here you can see the DOP things are usually green. And here this is where it becomes a DOP, because the flip solver, what is the flip solver? The flip solver is an equation used to modify this point based of the behavior of the fluids. So this is just, if you go inside here, this is just an equation, a graphical equation. So all the things that you can see in, sorry, let's see this, where is it? All these values you can see here, for example, okay, the P, the delta V, the delta T plus V, etc. All of them are here. Like each node can be one of them. Now I'm not like going into too much into that, and I'm simplifying it as shit, but just to give you an idea of what that is. So this is just telling, take this SOP and use this equation to output here a DOP output. Okay, so in here you take your SOPs and you make them become a DOP. After, when you go outside, which this guy knows now that I'm gonna take the output of this DOP. Now it is a SOP again, okay? Because it already has the DOP equation to it. It's not gonna recompute that, and it became a SOP again. I'm sorry, there is not much around in the internet to explain you how I'm trying to do right now, and I can understand that, because while doing this, I can understand that it's complicated to explain for people that maybe don't know. Um but I don't know. I'm trying my best. You can tell me in the comments. You can say like, well, you did a shit job, man, or you know, that's okay. I think I understand. You know, anything. If you did or did not understand, any feedback would help. Hopefully, it made it clear for you, but or at least better than before. So that's my hope. But it's a hard thing to explain. So this is the DOP, okay? CHOP. CHOP, as I said before, you can take here and put animation curves, music, any kind of curves, any kind of thing that has channels. You can take it, put it here, and make whatever you want and change them. You have, I think, VOP, transform VOP. Yeah, you can even VOP them. So you can change the curves in some ways. Okay, so this is the chop. The ROP is rendering object, anything. Like if you wanna make a sphere here and give the sphere something. Let's say $FF. Okay. No, sorry. We're gonna take this and put it here. Okay. If you want to do like this and you wanna export this new animation you made, great animation for Disney you made, you go here and you make a ROP. You can ROP network because you can ROPs. I mean, the context are just containers. The con Yeah. So you can make a ROP inside the SOP, or like we did before, a DOP inside the SOP, because it's just a graphical container if you want to put all there. But it doesn't mean that if I make a ROP net here, they will know about each other's. It's just for layout, you know. So that's something. But anyways, if you want to export this, it's gonna be a ROP thing, a ROP FBX output, because the ROP is the rendering, any kind of rendering, not only images, but even objects, FBX, anything that goes out in a certain format is a ROP. COP, like we said before, I think we did a decent job at explaining COPs before, but yeah, that's it. The COPs are these things. You take images and you do things with them, you know, like the guy is doing here. Thanks to this guy, by the way. And the four cops is a great video in and is the composing, obviously, which is the old version, but I don't think no one is using the composing part. So as I was saying, it's a video about cops that just came out in Houdini COP. It's a 5 hours video which treats like all of Houdini cops, and you can find that in the official page of Houdini. In I can't find it, but you can find that if you do a better research than mine for more than 35 seconds. And you can search for cops, and that's it. Cops are just composing, and now it's using as a image maker. Okay, image maker for textures. Okay, so procedural textures maker, something like that. Cops VOP is what we already said. So it's changing attributes, changing vectors or floats or anything. So in this case, we have like this, okay? Sorry, we have this, which are only points, okay, in a certain place with a certain position. And if we do a VOP, if we do a VOP, point VOP, because they are points, so we're gonna affect points with our VOP. We're gonna go in another context, which this is an exception for the things I told you before, because I told you each context doesn't know about each other. Sometimes they do, because I think they this automatisms, so it's easier in the years maybe. Uh, they did this, I think, in the years. Sorry for that. To make it easier, because the VOP, it's it's really like 99% of the times you want a VOP that it's gonna affect the thing. up above. So here, this VOP node knows that it got to import the geometry from before, so it's already imported, and it got to output the same thing. So here you can take, for example, the position, okay? And you can see here we are visualizing this node. If we are taking the position from the input and putting that in the output as the same, it's going to be the same thing, okay? But if here we want to add, for example, a constant, we can add the position, and now it's moving because we are adding numbers to the position they had before and giving that as a new position to the output. So this is a VOP context, which you can do for any kind of attribute here, and you can do that, but we're gonna get into that maybe in another video. And you can do with things that are not here, you can bind them, so you can import even attributes. So if you have an attribute outside, which here you don't have because these are the standards one, you have another attribute that you call Geno. Okay, you can call back Geno here and give it Geno plus something is equals to bind export to new Geno, to new Geno. So you have some Geno before, and now you have your new Geno, which is Geno from before plus 1. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So we did that here, not with Geno, but with position. And we just give the position a noise, any kind of noise. This is an NTLS noise. You can use any kind of noise, and that's it. Is position plus noise equals position. So that's a VOP. In here, you can change anything. You can change velocity, force, age, life, ID, anything, okay? And you can do it in here, and the output is gonna be the new one here, this one, for example, which is the new position. Hopefully that makes sense. VEX here. It's not it's not really easy to explain those things. Hopefully I'm doing a decent job. Tell me if I'm doing a decent job, or should I fire myself from this? In the comments. You can talk shit about me in the comments if you want to. Any feedback is a good feedback. Okay, VEX. VEX is in this case we're gonna use my old flip sim to explain something in VEX. VEX. We say the VEX have the possibility to do anything that VOPs has, but like writing that. So I have an example here for you. Okay, let's see, let's see the VOP example. In VOPs here, we took the velocity from before, we multiply that by 2. This is a constant of 2, and we give that output to the new velocity. So if we look here outside, we can see, we can see the v velocity of the point. Okay, and we click here, we can see the v's now. Okay, so we can see this thing here are vectors. The yellow thing are vectors. The size, the direction and the size of the vectors are the vectors themselves. So the velocity of like this point is in this direction of this big. Okay, so we can do in a point VOP, we can multiply that as we did here inside by 2. So this is gonna be 2 times bigger, and you can see that here. See, it's 2 times bigger now. Any velocity is 2 times bigger. To do the same thing in VEX, you just code it as we did here. You just code it and you say v at v, which is vector velocity equals vector velocity, which was the same as before, times 2. This is the same one. So now we have the same thing. We go here or here is the same. If here we can say like 10, and this is gonna be 10 times more. Look, okay. Or we can say, sorry, or we can say, as I said before, like point 10. It's gonna be 0.1. See? So it's 0.1 now, which is strangely cool as visual impact. This is the worst way to write that because it's not efficient. The efficient way is this. I think at least the most efficient I know is this, which is v at v times equals 2. So it's the same as saying v at v is equal v at v times 2. You just cut out something that you don't really need to tell him again that is the same as before. You know, this is the efficient way. So you just say v at v times equals 2. And here you can write if something inside there, this wow is bigger than 10, then you do this and that. But I'm not a VEX guy, so I know only the really like super simple stuff. I usually do everything in VOP because I like VOP and because I don't like programming languages and shit. So this is it. Hopefully it wasn't confusing. Hopefully it was a decent explanation. Hopefully you learned at least something. That's it. Hopefully I was useful in somehow, you know. Uh, Tell me if you want anything more or any questions, anything that you have to you want to tell me. Feel free to. The next one of the next videos will be on sims. So each kind of sim that we have. So for example, here we have pyro. Let's see. We're gonna talk about the pyro sims. Oh, I'm sorry. Why is this pyro? Oh, it's not the pyro. We're gonna talk, for example, about the pyro sims. So, where is that? Yeah, here. Explosions and shit. Which this is not the best explosion. This is a strange way to see the explosions. Let's see, constant white scatters on fire. Exactly. And this is the more decent one. So we're gonna see all these kind of things, the vellum, the flip, the all these things. We can see them if you guys want. So if you want, just comment, like, and subscribe, and that will give me a kick to do something more with this channel, as I'm trying to do right now. Hopefully, in a good manner with some decent results for you guys to help you, because that's the point of it. So that's all. Thank you for staying to this time if you are here, and goodbye. Enjoy Houdini.